Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus. Mr. Priebus, welcome. I want to start with a little business before we get to the substance of things. There's been a debate about when to take the president seriously. He recently tweeted that the press was the enemy of the American people. Should we take that seriously from him?
Well, I think you should take it seriously. I think that the problem we've got is that we're talking about bogus stories like the one in the New York Times that we've had constant contact with Russian officials. The next day, the Wall Street Journal had a story that the intel community was not giving the president a full intelligence briefing. Both stories grossly inaccurate, overstated, overblown, and it's total garbage. So we spend, 48 hours on bogus stories, and the American people suffer. So I do think it's a problem, and I think that the media needs to, in some cases, not every case, John, but in some cases really needs to get its act together.
The enemy?
Well, if the theory is that the press is supposed to be a free forum of information to speak to the American people, I think it ought to be accurate. And I think that we've gotten to a place, John, where the media is willing to run with unnamed sources, apparently false leaked documents, to create stories. I mean, we deal with one after the next. I think that the media should stop with this unnamed source stuff, put names on a piece of paper, and print it. If people aren't willing to put their name next to a quote, then the quote shouldn't be listed, period.
What you're describing is something that in all the presidencies I've covered is a very familiar complaint from White Houses going back a very long time. And no previous White House has called the press the enemy.
Well, I think in our case, we have a total feeding frenzy and something that's so out of control. When you look at the president's accomplishments, why don't we talk about the fact that we've pulled out of TPP? We did a deregulation executive order that takes 2 regulations for every one that's been put in place. We nominated Neil Gorsuch. We signed a bill, the president, in saving our coal mining jobs. We've met with the UK. We've met with Canada. We've met with Israel. We have done so many things that are noteworthy and an accomplishment one day after the next. The storyline should not be about bogus Russian spy stories. They should be that this president has accomplished more in the first 30 days of this presidency than people can possibly remember in a very long time. It's a story of accomplishment. And that's not what we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about